Baruch Hashem, I was able to hear many of the previous Fabrengers, and indeed some of the things that I had planned to mention were already mentioned. Rabbi Yossi Paltiel said a good word that surely not everybody is going to be for the whole 24 hours able to be able to listen. Maybe some will. We'll make it this 24-hour visual. So a gute Sache and a gute Wort, befrat a Wort von Rebbe, so it can be repeated even more than once. Just want to start off with it was mentioned KOACH Nissan, it's Chof Ches Nissan, it's KOACH Nissan, and it's the kochos that the Rebbe is giving us, and it's mischadish every year, and we have to look at it in a positive sense, not that it's 30 years and we still haven't done the job. We have definitely no question achieved great things in the past 30 years. There's no question about it, and can elaborate on that too, but that's not the point. The point that Rebbe is always saying, demanding more and more. Just one quick story, first of all, that I heard from my uncle Groner, that when the Rebbe had to go that time in Manhattan to the ophthalmologist, to the eye doctor, and he had to go dafka to his office. So in the time waiting from the eye drops until he could make the examination, so the doctor, the professor, asked the Rebbe if he could ask some questions. And the Rebbe said yes. So some were talking medical questions. But the Rebbe, then he asked the Rebbe, he says he is involved also in Askonus, and he travels around the world, and he sees the great work that the Rebbe Shluchim do all around the world. And he therefore asked the Rebbe, why hasn't Mashiach come yet? I've seen the great work of the Shluchim around the world. And the Rebbe answered, I have the same question. Elomai, the Rebbe says that Kol Zman Mashiach has not yet come, has not been revealed. I keep on saying that we have to do more and more and more until it'll actually happen. I think he gave a mashal, a cup, you have to fill it and fill it and fill it. Anyway, what I want to say about Chof Ches Nissan and KOACH Nissan, which has been mentioned, and the Rebbe in that Sikha said also, it's the KOACH of Nissan. Nissan is Chedesh Geula. V'ula yesh leime b'derech hefsher, miyusad on the Rebbe's koch about Zayin Oder, that Zayin Oder, the Yom Hiledis from Moshe Rabbeinu, the Mazoli Goyver of Moshe Rabbeinu, is poil on the whole Chedesh Adar, that's a Chodesh Asher Ne'epach. That is the mazel of Chodesh Adar, is the Yemeledis from Moshe Rabbeinu. So Chodesh Nissan, the Groiskeit from Chodesh Nissan, that it's the Yemeledis from Rebbe, and the mazel. The Rebbe said almost also when it was in Beis that the mazel from Yidden, the body mazel from Am Yisrael, the mazel from Yidden is the Nasi, is the Rebbe. So the koach of Nissan is the Rebbe's koach, is the Rebbe's Yom Hiledis and everything that goes with it. Mashgacha Pratis. So what was shown, the video from this Motzei Shabbos, was a Sikha from Zayin Oder, from Tofshin Memhei. The Rebbe actually mentions that it's Zayin Oder Memhei. And the Vort Bekitzer, the Rebbe says that Gemara asks about Yireh, that Moshe Rabbeinu was asking, telling Am Yisrael, V'ata Yisrael, Mo'avai el-kecha shoel mi'imach, ki im li-yira, that all David is asking for you is to have Yireh Shamayim, for the Gemara, V'chi Yireh milsa zutrasehi, is it such a small thing, it's such an easy thing? And the Gemara answers, in legabi Moshe milsa zutrasehi, in regards to Moshe Rabbeinu, it is an easy thing. And the Alter Rebbe brings this in Tanya, and he says, what's the pshat? The pshat is that every Yid has a nitzutz of the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu and his neshama, and so therefore it's easy for him because you have the nitzutz of Moshe Rabbeinu. And the Rebbe is madgish that this is also the answer in Nigla. It's not just an answer in Chassidus. It's an answer in Nigla, but the lashon that the Rebbe said here, Shtaka Oasis, that the Rebbe said that, kids, you can look it up, and I have the Hanachi in front of me, that Bepashtus, when Moshe Rabbeinu so gives the Yid the Pasuk Shema Yisrael, so Moshe Rabbeinu gives it with all the chayis and with all the lahat, with the koch, together with his neshama. Moshe Rabbeinu gives us Torah with his neshama, nishmasei of Moshe Rabbeinu. It's b'meila. It's not an inyan of chidush when you tell a person that he has believed by pnima the nitzutz of nishmasei shel Moshe Rabbeinu, and so therefore When a person will allow that this nitzos of Moshe Rabbeinu, which he has within him, to be mechava deya, to give a chavas das, and more than that, that this nitzos of Moshe Rabbeinu should be so soll sagen adeya und soll sein balabatavin by him. So then harei bevadai shekiyum kol in yonei hatayra mitzvahs yetzlei ba'ifin the milsa zutrasa. Everything in Torah mitzvahs becomes a milsa zutrasa. So KOACH Nissan, the Rebbe said this sicher dafke KOACH Nissan ulai yesh loim b'derech hefsher. That's KOACH again of Nissan, and the Rebbe is giving us the kochos, and that it's a milsa zutrasa, not like we think. It's already been explained by previous speakers. We have here also, was mentioned earlier this morning, by us it was morning, by Rabbi Duda Leader. We have here Choshev Mashpia by the name of Rabbi Avram Glick. And B'shaita, he said, listen to the words of the Rebbe. Ich habe getan alles, was ich kann. Was noch kann ich tun in dem? Ich gebe es ihm zu euch. That in itself is a zach was the Rebbe tut, giving it over to us with all the kochos. One of the things which was mentioned, which is extremely important, of course, the Rebbe said, Haderech HaYeshara, is to learn in Yonei, Geula or Moshiach, and of course, the Rebbe said, Bizdel Kutis Siches from the Sidei Reina was the expression, and I'm sure that everybody will agree, it's not only the Rebbe's Biyurim in Yonei Mashiach or Geula from the Rambam, the Chulu, and I was Takazechet to be in New York then in Tezvav Ir, Tafshin and Aleph, and the Rebbe gave out the Dva Machas with the 4 Sichas. But also the Sichas that the Rebbe spoke about, Kochos Mashiach. So today we had, zwischen the speakers, you had little clips of the Rebbe speaking, and Take starke Sichas, but there are, and these are what we have to also hear and learn. And the Rebbe, you see how the Rebbe is not letting up. The Koch in Mashiach, and I want to share just 2 other ones. There are, we have Baruch Hashem, we have videos and we have recordings, but there are those sichos which are not recorded. There are the sichos which are Shabbos Dike sichos. So I want to refer to 2 sichos. First of all, talking again about kochos, and as the Rebbe said that we have the koach of Moshe Rabbeinu, the Rebbe, and therefore Milsa Zutrasa, something talking to reflect on, to think about. There's a sikha from the Friediger Rebbe. It's also a Nissan sikha. It's based Nissan Tafshin Gimel, and it's printed in Sefer HaMaimorim Tafshin Yudalef of the Friediger Rebbe. You can look it up on page 214. It's 2 small paragraphs, and it's very, very also empowering. The Friediger Rebbe says, "Men darf wissen de kochos was mir haben, dem koach von Taten." Because it was a based Nissan verbringen the Hilule von dem Rebbe Rashab. Dem koach von Taten von alle Rabbeim. Wenn man soll wissen, die kochos, wollt sich anders gedavnt, anders gelernt, anders geschlafen. Man darf wissen, die kochos, was wir haben, und der Eibishter soll helfen. Very, very powerful words. Now let's just go to refer to 2 sichos. Parshas Mishpatim, Shabbos Mevorchim, Oderishim, Tov Shin Mem Dalet, Chav Dalet Shvat. I think it's also one of the most fire-dike sichos of the Rebbe in regards to Inyonei Moshiach Geula, speaking about. So the Rebbe says that there's a nevuah in Zechariah where the Novi says that the pasuk is Vayanu as a Malach Hashem oimed ben hadas oimed hisalachnu ba'aretz v'ine kol haaretz yesheves v'sheketes. Malach says that the whole world is yesheves v'sheketes. It's quiet, it's complacent, it's apathetic, and it's been again the Indian. Anyway, then the next pasuk is not a very pleasant pasuk, and it's all about the Indian phone Golus. The Rebbe, I don't want to use a sharper expression, but say the word lashes out in this sikha. And there's one expression which I think is unique. I don't know if it's anywhere else. It's very similar to the Chof Ches Nissan. In a way, it's similar. It was mentioned before, and we saw part of the sikha from Purim Tavshin Mem Zayin, When the Rebbe said dass darf rübergehen von dem Nossi zu der Hakoil, Taka Nossi ho Hakoil. We saw part of that Sikha, by the way, in another place, I think later on in the Sikha, the Rebbe says, because the Rebbe says the Bir Bozeh is, that's a daf haribagain from dem Nossi to the Hakoil. Everybody has to do it, not just the Nossi. The Rebbe says later on, the einzige Bir was la'achrei yegia bezeh. It was a lotion that the Rebbe used. La'achrei yegia. The Rebbe is saying that he was misyageya to find a Bir that the Rebbe the Shver made the cats in Tafshin Gimel. La'achrei yegia bezeh. The Rebbe yegia bezeh was saying that this is something which everybody has to do. It's the Rebbe came from the Nossi to the Hakoil. But in this Sikha of Mishpatim, Chof Dalet Shvat, Tavshim Mem Dalet, it's so sharp about how people could be so complacent about the whole Indian from kochos in MOSHIACH and Gula. This is Tavshim Mem Dalet. I just want to we read to learning in Yonah Mashiach Gula. The Rebbe says over here in Ois Yud Ches. I'm sorry, earlier. The Rebbe sagt azay. He says, so it's Yud it's already Meshech Zman Oruch B'Yoser. The Rebbe says it's Meshech Zman Oruch B'Yoser Shemar Ishim B'chol Is Damlus Dalei Golus. That means that Yidden should not tolerate anymore the matter of the Golus. And as the Novi says, that Moshe Atoloi Terachim Es Yerushalayim Es Or Yehuda Sheza'amtu V'chulu. And he says, La'achri Kol Zeh. When somebody goes over to a Chosid Chabad and asks him, what's this rash all about? What is this cycle all about that you can't stand Golus anymore? You want Mashiach now? So this Yitain is, I'm also a Yid, a Charedi, and I daven 3 times a day, and I believe in B'yis HaMashiach. And nevertheless, I never heard ever that you have to be marish and you have to shrai, that you can't stand Golus anymore. So therefore, why are you Chabadnikim making such a rash and screaming so much about this? Where is the Mocker in Torah for such a anhoge? So the Rebbe says that Chabadnik is misbalbul to hear the shaila, and he remains with an open mouth without any answer in his mouth. So the other Yid knows that Chabadnik was by many Fabrengens, 3 Fabrengens, 3 times 3 Fabrengens and more. And in those Fabrengens was spoken about this matter, that you didn't have to be marish and to shrai, that mekenish sovel zayin the Golus anymore. So therefore, this other Yid, when he presents this shaila to this Chabadnik, right? And this Chabadnik is misbalbul and he doesn't know what to answer. So what's the pshat? He doesn't know what to answer. That he hasn't got what to answer. And why? Because he taka thinks. So this other person thinks that this Chabadnik thinks it's also a good shaila. And not only that, be'emes, be'etzem, there's taken no shaila. B'loshen Chazal, with the ishtik, that he is memoider. Now listen to what the Rebbe says after this. He says this meeting that this Yid had was b'ashgocha pratis, in order that you should be poil on him a massive of tikva and spiyot midas to the gulo hasidah, in order that he should not be able to rest and he shouldn't be able to be quiet. Well, the poil, not only it doesn't have any pull on him, but adarabah. So this person now comes to find out that the Chabadnik doesn't know what the mokin Torah is to this anhoga. The Horai doesn't know what to answer him. And here's what the Rebbe says. Hayi tochen, la'achrei shedubar po'omim rabbis kol kach, oidos inyan zeh. So many times it has been spoken about this inyan. There are still those who remain without an answer when they hear such a question. Says the Rebbe, if this is the Matzav Hadvarim, what was affected? I wasn't at the Fabrengen, and this is a Hanocha, but here it says, Ma po'alu eifoi v'meshech shloishim v'sholosh hashonim shemedabrim oides inyan zeh. What has been affected? It means what it says, what have I achieved after speaking for 33 years? This is Mem Dalet, so the Rebbe is counting from Tafshin Yud Aleph. After speaking for 33 years about this, and the Chabad Chosid can't answer this Yid on this question, What have I achieved for 33 years of Farbrengen? Al derech Chof Ches Nissan. Elamai, the Sibba is because of the Sha'ananut, V'ha'adishut, that's apathy and complacency, etc. You continue learning that Sikha, it's mamish, it'll really shake you up and wake you up. Another Sikha, in which the Rebbe speaks about the oifen of going about, because there are a lot of sikhs about we want Mashiach now. Agav, when this Yid said, the Rebbe says, this Yid says, I never saw it, not by my father, not by my grandfather. I remember one time the Rebbe said, which I was at the Farbrengen, the Rebbe said, Shchinta begalusa, Mashiach begalusa, similar to the Sikha from Tavshim Emdale. He says, was fragt men kashes? The Shchine is in Golus. Fragst das mit das nicht gesehen, by the Tate, by the Zayde. What's the question? Shchinte begalusa. We got to get the Shchine out of Golus. That was another answer. In Pashas Tzav, Shabbos HaGodol, Tavshin Mem Hey. So the Rebbe says, but again, the Indian of how do you, again, it's been again the Indian from MOSHIACH NOW, also a Sharfa Sikha. And the Rebbe says that the Hanhoga has to be that when you go to speak with another Yid, when you go out to speak with another Yid, the first thing is Olav Litzek Mashiach Now. You have to go to another Yid and you right away scream, Mashiach Now. And you have to shrai ad kidei kach that the other person should also shrai Mashiach Now. So l'chayri, you can time how you talking. If you want to be poil in another Yid, you have to behave like a gentleman. First, you have to say Shalom Aleichem, and you have to say Vos machst du, and how are you feeling? And as he says in Sfasam Medina, how are you? And afterwards, ask about his wife and his bnei bayis, and then ask him about how his parnos is going, and exactly v'chulu, and then talk about Yiddishkeit, and then you get to Otot Kum Mashiach. He says to behave in such a way is kan hogas a Baal Shem Tov, like we know how the Baal Shem Tov was mekada v'chulu. But to start with Mashiach Now, Shtayim Mashiach Now, hanhogam muzor, it's a very strange behavior. Adrabah. Divrei Chachamim benachas nishmoim v'chulu, davgein statechne, okay, b'tzad gudel. Sagt der Rebbe, la'amite shel davar ha'hepech hu hanochein. That the opposite is the truth. Really, the opposite is. The Rebbe says as follows: somebody who is completely normal and he's dressed like a normal person and he speaks like a normal person, but all of a sudden he starts to scream Mashiach Now, dafke hanhoga zu kezu he zu shepay eles umoereres etzel hazulas es apnimi yishboy shalamiti shel dova gam nafsho yitzekes Mashiach Now. This is the Rebbe's words. Dafke screaming in such a manner will be mo'ered the other person's pnimius, and in the other person's pnimius, his neshama is also screaming Mashiach Now. And he says, and that's not, I'm not going to be minor because the time I know is running out. The Rebbe says that, the Yid, pnimius nafshei, so kol echad vechad mi Yisrael is cheftzei v'tzoyin is begula mitzvah shleima. You only have to remove the klipo hachitzoinis, which is covered over with avak and bots, and you have to be megal of the pnimius. So he says, if you go and approach the other person with all of the ways of nimus, etc., you will not be able to remove the dust and the mud, the bots, which is covering over the klipa chitzonis. But when you'll go over to a person and you'll scream Mashiach Now, Herr sich ein, Yidden darfen haben Mashiach, that's the way that you will remove the klipa chitzonis, and then it will be nizgala pnimius nishmosoi. Anyway, so and then the Rebbe continues with the story, or what I can mention from one of the Ziknei Shluchim, Rav Moshe Fellows was ein gesund, and I don't know if he's watching that, it's middle of the night already there, and his birthday is the first day of Pesach. And then the Rebbe tells a story about, doesn't mention his name, about Mincha, when he went to daven Mincha in the office of Professor Velvel Green, Oliver Shalom, and Dafke this Hanhoge, which is totally strange, the Rebbe brings right away after this, that story. Anyway, time is up. The time for Golos is up, and Golos is over now. Also, we have to have it. But I just want to suggest that in Yonim from Mashiach and Gula, which are going to be mechazik and to be me'orer in all of these sichos that the Rebbe talks about. We just mentioned in Befratim, Benegeya, how to approach this. The manner the Iki is, as jetzt geht mit Tage bald Daven and Meirev, and it's schön, schön da, Lamed is Shluchim, so it says also Shluchim Shana, Shluchim, and the letzte Tag von Nissan, soll man schon haben, die ist Galus, man soll sich sehen mit dem Rebbe, wo ihr Galeno, und Yerushalayim mit HaKodesh, miyad mamash now, and L'chaim, L'chaim, L'chaim,